What if everything we think we know about ancient civilizations is incomplete? Not wrong, just unfinished. Across deserts, jungles, and oceans, massive structures still stand, built with precision that even modern engineers struggle to explain. Stones weighing tons, aligned to stars, moved without machines, without written blueprints, and without clear answers. These weren't accidents. They weren't crude experiments. They were intentional. And that raises an uncomfortable question. How did people thousands of years ago understand engineering, astronomy, and mathematics so deeply and then lose it? Because history doesn't just forget like this. Knowledge doesn't simply vanish unless something happened, unless parts of our past were never meant to survive. Tonight, we step into those gaps, the places where evidence exists, explanations don't, and certainty begins to dissolve. Not to chase fantasy, but to confront the mysteries that refuse to disappear.
The allure of ancient discoveries has always been a powerful force, drawing people into the depths of the past with a sense of wonder and curiosity. These discoveries, whether they come in the form of towering stone monuments, intricate carvings, or mysterious artifacts, seem to reach across time and space, holding secrets that remain just beyond our understanding. When we look at these ancient remains, we are confronted with both a tangible piece of history and an insurmountable question. How did people so long ago achieve such feats of ingenuity and knowledge? And perhaps more troubling, what remains hidden, waiting to be uncovered? For centuries, mankind has sought to unravel the mysteries of the past, from the majestic pyramids of Egypt to the enigmatic stone circles of Stonehenge. Yet, for all our efforts, there remain discoveries that continue to confound us. Pieces of the puzzle that refuse to fit neatly into the framework of history as we know it. What makes these findings so intriguing is that they exist in the present, in the form of physical objects or structures, yet their origins and purposes are clouded in mystery. It is as if the past is speaking to us, but we cannot quite hear its full message. Take, for example, the Great Pyramids of Giza. These massive structures have stood for thousands of years, towering over the desert like silent sentinels from a forgotten age. We know they were built by the ancient Egyptians, but how did they manage to construct such immense monuments with the tools and technology available to them at the time? The precision of their design, the alignment with celestial bodies, and the sheer scale of the endeavor challenge our understanding of what was possible in the ancient world. While archaeologists have provided plausible explanations for their construction, ranging from ramps to cranes, there are still many who question whether these explanations fully account for the mysteries surrounding the pyramids. Could there have been an ancient knowledge of engineering or astronomy that was lost to history? Or is there another, as yet undiscovered truth that holds the key to understanding their creation? This paradox between the certainty of what we can see and the uncertainty of what we truly understand is a theme that runs throughout many of the most fascinating archaeological findings. Time and again, we find ourselves face to face with ancient remnants that defy simple explanations. Whether it's the inexplicable alignment of ancient structures, the appearance of technologies that seem out of place for their time, or the discovery of strange artifacts that suggest knowledge beyond their era, these mysteries beg for answers. And yet, despite our best efforts, they remain just out of reach, like elusive shadows that flicker at the edges of our understanding. There is something almost poetic about these mysteries. They evoke a sense of timelessness, a feeling that we are standing on the precipice of something much larger than ourselves. The knowledge we have gained from modern science, archaeology, and history has brought us closer to understanding the ancient world, but the deeper we dig, the more we encounter questions that simply cannot be answered. It is this very tension between the known and the unknown that gives these discoveries their allure. For every mystery we unravel, we seem to be presented with two more that lead us down new paths of inquiry. As we journey through the world of unexplained archaeological findings, we are not simply looking for answers. We are also embracing the uncertainty, the sense of wonder, and the beauty of the unknown. The mysteries of the past are like pieces of a puzzle that, when examined individually, don't seem to fit together. But when we step back and look at the big picture, we begin to see patterns, connections, and clues that suggest a larger, hidden narrative waiting to be uncovered. This is the thrill of exploring the unknown, the realization that with every discovery, we are one step closer to understanding not just the past, but the very nature of human knowledge and curiosity. Yet, as much as we are drawn to these mysteries, there's always the possibility that some questions will remain unanswered. Perhaps there are things that are simply beyond our current capacity to understand. The more we uncover, the more we realize how little we truly know. There's a certain humility in this recognition, a reminder that our grasp on the past is limited by our current knowledge and the passage of time. After all, many of the ancient civilizations we study had their own mysteries, puzzles they couldn't solve and questions they couldn't answer. Could it be that we, too, are living in an age of unknowable mysteries, bound by the limitations of our own understanding? This thought leads us into the heart of the mystery itself. The fact that there are discoveries still awaiting explanation suggests that there is something inherently elusive about the past. Perhaps it is not just the ancient knowledge that we have lost, but the very nature of the world we are trying to understand. Could it be that some of these artifacts and structures are not just reminders of lost civilizations, but windows into a deeper, more complex reality that we are still unable to fully comprehend? In this documentary, we will explore some of the most perplexing archaeological finds that science has yet to explain. From ancient artifacts that defy logic to monumental structures whose purposes remain shrouded in mystery, we will examine the evidence and the theories, all while maintaining an open mind to the possibility that there are things in this world we may never fully understand. Our journey will take us from the heart of Egypt to the deserts of South America, across oceans and centuries, to uncover the stories that these ancient remains have to tell. Along the way, we will explore the boundaries between history and mystery, fact and fantasy, and science and speculation. As we delve deeper into these strange archaeological findings, we will not only ask the big questions, we will also embrace the uncertainty that comes with them. For in the pursuit of knowledge, it is not just the answers that matter, but the questions themselves. The mysteries we encounter are not just relics of the past. They are reminders that our understanding of the world is still very much a work in progress. And perhaps, in the end, it is this very mystery, this unyielding uncertainty, that gives history its most profound beauty. And so, we embark on this journey, knowing that some of the answers may remain elusive, but the pursuit of understanding will continue. With each new discovery, we draw closer to the truth, no matter how far beyond our reach it may seem. As we begin our exploration of these strange and mysterious archaeological findings, we open ourselves to the possibility that the past has much more to reveal than we could ever imagine. And with that, we move forward into the unknown, eager to uncover the secrets that lie hidden in the pages of history. The Great Pyramids of Giza have stood for millennia, watching over the endless desert's sands like silent sentinels of the past. Their massive, geometric forms rise starkly against the horizon, commanding awe and reverence. These ancient structures, so iconic and so integral to the history of Egypt, seem to encapsulate both the brilliance and the mystery of an ancient civilization. For centuries, they have captivated the imaginations of scholars, historians, and explorers alike, each attempting to decipher the secrets of their construction and purpose. Yet, despite the wealth of knowledge we have gathered about ancient Egypt, the question of how the pyramids were built remains one of the greatest mysteries in the world. We know that the pyramids were constructed during the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom of Egypt, around 4,500 years ago. The most famous of them, the Great Pyramid of Giza, was built as a tomb for the pharaoh Khufu, also known as Cheops. It is a staggering monument. Originally standing at 481 feet, it was the tallest man-made structure in the world for over 3,800 years. Even today, with all of our modern tools and technology, it is difficult to fully comprehend how such a monumental structure could have been built with the rudimentary tools and knowledge available at the time. Modern archaeological research suggests that the Egyptians used a combination of ramps, levers, and manpower to move the massive stones into place. Estimates vary, but the number of workers required to build the Great Pyramid could have been in the tens of thousands. This theory, while plausible, does little to explain the precision and alignment of the pyramid with such incredible accuracy. The Great Pyramid is aligned with the cardinal points of the compass with a precision that would be difficult even for today's engineers to replicate, and its base is level to within a fraction of an inch across its entire surface. These facts raise a fundamental question. How could the ancient Egyptians have achieved such extraordinary precision with tools that, by today's standards, seem primitive? The prevailing theory is that the Egyptians used a system of ramps to move the massive stones into place, but the exact nature of these ramps remains hotly debated. Some believe that a straight ramp was used, extending from the base to the top of the pyramid, while others suggest that a spiral ramp encircled the pyramid as it rose. There are even theories that the stones were floated into place using water, or that they were lifted by a complex system of pulleys. Yet, none of these ideas have been definitively proven, and there is still no consensus among experts on how exactly the Egyptians managed to move and position the massive stones. This mystery is made all the more intriguing by the fact that the pyramids seem to have been built with an astonishing level of knowledge that seems to transcend the capabilities of the time. The precision with which the stones were cut, shaped, and arranged suggests a deep understanding of geometry and mathematics. The Great Pyramid, for example, is built with such accuracy that the difference in the length of each side is less than 1/15 of an inch. The fact that such an achievement was made using rudimentary tools and with so much labor is baffling. How did the Egyptians possess this kind of knowledge? Was it passed down from an earlier, more advanced civilization, or did it emerge independently as a result of years of observation, trial, and error? One of the most captivating aspects of the pyramids is their alignment with the stars, particularly the constellation of Orion. The Egyptians, known for their reverence of the stars and the gods associated with them, believed that the pharaohs were the earthly representations of the gods, and they built their tombs with celestial alignments in mind. The Great Pyramid, for instance, is aligned so precisely with the cardinal points that it can be seen as a representation of the celestial order itself. It's been suggested that the pyramid's alignment was intended to reflect the position of Orion's belt, a constellation associated with Osiris, the god of the afterlife. The idea that the ancient Egyptians built such a monument with knowledge of the stars is both fascinating and mystifying. Was this alignment the result of sophisticated astronomical observation? Or did the Egyptians have access to some kind of ancient knowledge that has been lost over time? While the construction of the pyramids remains a subject of intense study and debate, the mysteries surrounding them do not end with their building. The pyramids themselves, particularly the Great Pyramid, contain several unusual features that continue to puzzle researchers. Inside the pyramid, the Grand Gallery leads up to the King's Chamber, which is made from massive blocks of granite, a material that is not found anywhere near Giza. The granite used in the King's Chamber is so precisely cut that there is no visible mortar between the blocks. How did the Egyptians manage to cut and position such massive stones with such precision? The construction of the King's Chamber raises further questions about the techniques used by the ancient builders and the purpose of the chamber itself. Another mystery lies in the so-called air shafts that run through the Great Pyramid. These shafts, which are thought to have been intended for the pharaoh's soul to ascend to the heavens, have been a subject of much speculation. One shaft points directly to the star Al-Nitak, part of the constellation of Orion, while another points to the star Sirius. These alignments have led some to believe that the pyramid was not just a tomb, but also a kind of celestial gateway, designed to facilitate the pharaoh's journey into the afterlife. The question of whether these alignments were intentional or simply coincidental adds another layer of intrigue to the pyramid's already complex history. Despite the centuries of research and countless theories put forward, the true methods of the pyramid's construction remain elusive. The more we learn, the more we realize how much there is yet to understand. What is clear however, is that the pyramids were not simply tombs. They were monumental achievements that required an immense amount of labor, resources, and knowledge. They represent not just the technical skill of ancient Egypt, but also the spiritual and philosophical beliefs of a civilization that saw the world in a fundamentally different way. The mystery of how the pyramids were built is not just a question of ancient engineering. It is a question about the very nature of human achievement, the limits of knowledge, and the passage of time. As we attempt to solve the puzzle of the pyramids, we are confronted with deeper questions about the capacity of ancient civilizations to produce wonders that continue to challenge us today. Were the Egyptians truly capable of such feats of engineering? Or is there another, more profound explanation for the pyramids' creation, one that lies beyond the boundaries of our current understanding? The answer, for now, remains out of reach. Yet, the mysteries of the pyramids, like so many ancient wonders, continue to inspire us to look deeper, to ask bigger questions, and to push the limits of our knowledge. Perhaps, in doing so, we will someday uncover the true secrets of these monumental structures. Until then, we are left to marvel at their magnificence and wonder. How much of their story is still waiting to be told? The Nazca Lines, a vast network of geoglyphs etched into the arid desert floor of southern Peru, remain one of the most captivating and perplexing archaeological mysteries in the world. Stretching across an area of more than 50 square miles, these enormous drawings depict everything from simple geometric shapes to complex representations of animals, plants, and humanoid figures. From the ground, the lines seem like little more than shallow depressions in the Earth's surface, difficult to discern and impossible to understand. But when viewed from the sky, their true scale and intricacy come into view, revealing a stunning and mysterious landscape that has confounded scientists, historians, and archaeologists for over a century. The most striking feature of the Nazca Lines is their size. Some of the figures measure up to 1,200 feet in length, while others span miles across the desert floor. The lines themselves are created by removing the top layer of reddish-brown gravel, revealing the lighter-colored earth beneath. This subtle contrast is enough to make the drawings visible from above, yet remains almost imperceptible from the ground. The sheer scale of these geoglyphs suggests a level of planning and precision that would be difficult to achieve even with modern technology. How did the ancient Nazca people, who lived in this desolate and unforgiving landscape, manage to create such complex and monumental works of art? Despite decades of research, the true purpose of the Nazca Lines remains elusive. Some scholars believe that the geoglyphs served a ceremonial or religious function, possibly related to the Nazca people's beliefs in the heavens and the gods. The most common theory is that the lines were used as part of a ritual to honor the gods, especially the gods of water, as the region around Nazca is a dry and arid desert. The Nazca people, who lived between 500 BCE and 500 CE, relied heavily on water for survival, and many of the lines are thought to align with the stars and constellations, suggesting that the geoglyphs may have been part of an ancient astronomical observatory or calendar. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Nazca Lines is their connection to the cosmos. Many of the figures, such as the hummingbird, the spider, and the monkey, seem to correspond to constellations or celestial bodies. In fact, some researchers suggest that the geoglyphs may have been created to mark specific astronomical events, such as the solstices or the rising and setting of particular stars. The precise alignment of the lines with the stars has led some to speculate that the Nazca people possessed advanced astronomical knowledge, possibly far ahead of their time. Yet, despite this theory, there is no definitive evidence to support the idea that the Nazca Lines were intended as an astronomical calendar or celestial map. The lines may have been more symbolic, representing the relationship between the earth and the heavens, or they could have had a more practical purpose, such as serving as pathways for ceremonial processions or rituals. The lack of concrete evidence only adds to the mystery, leaving us to wonder whether the Nazca people had a deeper understanding of the cosmos or whether their creations were driven by entirely different motivations. Another intriguing possibility is that the Nazca lines were created to be viewed only from the sky. This theory is based on the assumption that the geoglyphs were not intended to be seen by the people who lived in the region, but rather by the gods themselves. The lines, with their immense size and intricate patterns, seem almost too large to be appreciated by the human eye at ground level. This has led some to speculate that the ancient Nazca people may have had the ability to fly or possessed some kind of aerial technology that allowed them to view the geoglyphs from above. While this idea may sound fantastical, it raises an important question. If the lines were meant to be seen by the gods, what role did they play in the spiritual or religious beliefs of the Nazca people? Were these geoglyphs intended to act as offerings or prayers, designed to communicate with divine beings? Or were they created as a form of divine worship, an attempt to influence the natural world, particularly the elusive forces of water and fertility? Of course, there are other, more grounded explanations for the Nazca lines. Some researchers suggest that the geoglyphs were simply a form of artistic expression, created as a way for the Nazca people to leave a lasting legacy. The sheer magnitude and complexity of the lines indicate that they were a communal effort, requiring a significant amount of time and labor to complete. In this view, the lines could have served as a cultural or religious marker, perhaps a way of recording important events or asserting the identity of the Nazca civilization. In a landscape where few other structures have survived the ravages of time, the lines may have been an enduring symbol of the Nazca people's presence and their connection to the land. Despite these theories, the most pressing question remains: why did the Nazca people create these geoglyphs in the first place? What was the driving force behind their monumental effort? The mystery is compounded by the fact that the Nazca lines are located in one of the most desolate and remote regions of Peru, a place with little water or vegetation. The area is not an ideal location for large-scale agriculture, and the absence of permanent structures or settlements near the lines suggests that the geoglyphs were not created for practical purposes such as navigation or farming. Some have even proposed that the Nazca lines were created by extraterrestrial beings, suggesting that the complexity and size of the geoglyphs could only be the work of a civilization far beyond our own. While this theory is far from scientifically accepted, it has captured the public imagination and contributed to the ongoing fascination with the Nazca lines. Whether or not we believe in extraterrestrial involvement, the fact remains that these geoglyphs continue to defy conventional explanations, and their true purpose remains shrouded in mystery. In the absence of definitive answers, the Nazca lines stand as a testament to the ingenuity and creativity of the ancient Nazca people. Their purpose may never be fully understood, but the lines themselves serve as a powerful reminder of the mysteries that still lie buried in the deserts of the world. Every new theory and every new discovery only adds to the allure of these ancient geoglyphs, leaving us with more questions than answers. As we continue to study the Nazca lines, we are reminded that there are still many pieces of history that remain hidden, waiting to be uncovered by those who are willing to look beyond the surface and seek the truth that lies beneath. The Nazca lines invite us to look up, to question what we think we know about the past and the possibilities that may lie hidden in the vast stretches of time. They are a reminder that there are still mysteries out there, waiting to be discovered, and that sometimes the answers we seek may be found in the most unlikely of places. Stonehenge, the ancient stone circle located on the Salisbury Plain in England, has long been a symbol of mystery and intrigue. For over 4,000 years, this monument has stood against the elements, its massive stones arranged in a way that suggests deliberate and thoughtful design, yet its true purpose remains an enigma. The beauty of Stonehenge lies not only in its breathtaking size and the precision with which it was constructed, but in the questions it raises about the ancient people who built it. What was the purpose of this monument? Was it a place of worship, an astronomical observatory, or something else entirely? And how did the builders manage to transport and erect these immense stones, some weighing as much as 25 tons, without the advanced technology we rely on today? Stonehenge's construction, dating back to around 3000 BCE, occurred in several phases, with the final structure taking shape around 1600 BCE. The monument consists of a series of large, standing stones arranged in a circular formation, with additional stones forming a horseshoe shape in the center. The largest stones, known as sarcens, were transported from a quarry located about 20 miles away, while the smaller blue stones came from the Preseli Hills in Wales, over 150 miles away. The sheer scale of the transportation required to bring these stones to the site has baffled archaeologists for centuries. How did ancient people, with no wheels or pulleys, manage to transport these massive stones across such vast distances? The most widely accepted theory is that the stones were moved using a system of sledges and rollers, combined with human and animal labor, but there are still no definitive answers. Some even speculate that the stones were floated along rivers or dragged across the land by teams of people working in unison, but no one knows for sure how it was done. Even more puzzling than the physical construction of Stonehenge is its purpose. For centuries, scholars have proposed various theories, from religious ceremonies to astronomical observation. One of the most popular ideas is that Stonehenge was an astronomical observatory designed to mark the movements of the sun and the moon. The alignment of the stones with the solstices, particularly the winter solstice, suggests that the monument may have been used to track the changing seasons. On the morning of the winter solstice, the sun rises directly over the heel stone, a large stone located outside the main circle. This alignment suggests that the ancient people who built Stonehenge were not only skilled engineers, but also keen astronomers who used the heavens to mark the passage of time and perhaps even to guide their agricultural practices. In addition to its potential astronomical significance, Stonehenge has also been associated with religious and spiritual beliefs. Some scholars argue that the monument may have been a site for ritualistic ceremonies, possibly linked to the worship of the sun or the ancestors. The act of gathering stones from distant locations, such as the Preseli Hills, could have had symbolic significance, representing a connection between the earth and the heavens. The precise alignment of the stones with celestial events, such as solstices and lunar eclipses, may have given the monument a sacred quality, marking it as a place of divine significance. The theories of religious and ritualistic purposes are further supported by the discovery of cremated human remains at the site, suggesting that Stonehenge may have also functioned as a burial ground or a site for ancestor worship. There are also those who propose that Stonehenge was a place of healing, pointing to the blue stones, which are believed to have had special properties in ancient times. Some scholars suggest that these stones were thought to possess healing powers, perhaps linked to the mystical qualities of the landscape itself. The fact that the blue stones came from a distant location only adds to the theory that they were highly prized, not just for their physical characteristics, but for the symbolism they carried. The theory of healing is intriguing, especially when combined with the knowledge that ancient peoples often associated certain stones or minerals with spiritual or medicinal properties. Whether or not this theory holds any weight, it speaks to the broader mystery surrounding the purpose of Stonehenge, a monument that seems to have served many functions, or perhaps none at all, depending on the viewpoint. Another theory, one that has gained popularity in recent years, is that Stonehenge was a site of pilgrimage. The idea is that the monument drew people from all over prehistoric Britain who traveled to the site to participate in religious or ceremonial events. The alignment of the stones with celestial events and the discovery of human remains at the site suggest that Stonehenge was more than just a local gathering place. It may have attracted people from distant regions, making it a focal point of cultural and spiritual life. This theory emphasizes the social and communal aspects of Stonehenge, suggesting that it was a place where people came together for shared rituals, feasts, and celebrations. The idea of Stonehenge as a center of social interaction fits with the evidence of large gatherings and the discovery of artifacts such as pottery and tools, which suggests that people traveled long distances to be part of the experience. Despite the many theories, no single explanation has yet emerged to fully account for the purpose of Stonehenge. It seems clear that the monument had profound cultural and spiritual significance for the people who built it, but what that significance was exactly remains a matter of debate. One thing is certain, Stonehenge was not a random construction. The careful planning, the transportation of massive stones, the alignment with celestial events, all of these suggest that Stonehenge was a deliberate, purposeful creation, one that required advanced knowledge and a deep connection to the land and the heavens. Whether it was an astronomical observatory, a site for religious rituals, a place of healing, or a center of pilgrimage, Stonehenge stands as a testament to the ingenuity and spiritual vision of the ancient peoples who built it. As we contemplate the purpose of Stonehenge, we are reminded of the deep connection between human beings and the natural world, a connection that has been a part of our history for thousands of years. The people who built Stonehenge were not just skilled engineers or artists. They were visionaries who understood the power of the earth and the sky, and they sought to align their lives with these forces in ways that we are only beginning to understand. The mystery of Stonehenge is not just about the monument itself, but about the people who built it, their beliefs, and the ways in which they sought to understand the world around them. And while the purpose of Stonehenge may never be fully understood, it continues to inspire awe and wonder, reminding us that the past is full of mysteries waiting to be explored, and that sometimes the greatest discoveries are not the answers, but the questions they inspire. The Antikythera mechanism, discovered in 1901 among the ruins of a shipwreck off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera, stands as one of the most enigmatic and awe-inspiring artifacts ever uncovered. Often described as the world's first analog computer, the Antikythera mechanism is an ancient device that defies our understanding of the technological capabilities of the ancient world. Its complexity, precision, and the very existence of such an advanced instrument in a time when even basic mechanical technology was still in its infancy have left scientists and historians bewildered for over a century. The mechanism, which consists of a set of gears, dials, and inscriptions, was originally housed in a wooden box, and its purpose has been the subject of much speculation and research. The gears themselves are incredibly sophisticated, with 30 separate bronze gears arranged in a complex system that drives a series of dials. These dials, when turned, were used to track the cycles of the moon, the movements of the sun, and the positions of the known planets. In essence, the Antikythera mechanism functioned as an astronomical calculator, allowing its user to predict astronomical events such as eclipses, the positions of the planets, and even the timing of the Olympic Games. The Antikythera mechanism's intricate design and its ability to accurately predict celestial phenomena suggest that the ancient Greeks possessed a level of technological and scientific knowledge that was far ahead of its time. The device is thought to have been constructed around 100 BCE, and its gears are made with an astounding degree of precision. The complexity of the mechanism is so advanced that modern researchers struggled for years to understand how such a device could have been built in antiquity. It is only in recent decades, with the advent of X-ray technology and advanced 3D imaging techniques, that we have been able to fully comprehend the level of engineering that went into creating the mechanism. The presence of such a sophisticated device in the ancient world challenges our understanding of technological progress. How was it possible for the ancient Greeks to construct such a complex piece of machinery at a time when even the most basic mechanical tools were just beginning to emerge? Some researchers suggest that the Antikythera mechanism was the result of centuries of accumulated knowledge in the fields of astronomy, mathematics, and engineering. The Greeks were known for their advances in these areas, but the Antikythera mechanism suggests that their scientific understanding of the cosmos was even more advanced than previously thought. The device's ability to track the motions of celestial bodies with such precision raises the possibility that the ancient Greeks had access to a deeper, more profound knowledge of the universe, knowledge that has been lost to history. One of the most puzzling aspects of the Antikythera mechanism is the fact that no other similar devices have been found in the ancient world. While the Greeks were undoubtedly skilled in the fields of mathematics and astronomy, the mechanism appears to be a unique and isolated creation. This raises the question, was the Antikythera mechanism the product of a single brilliant inventor, Or did it represent the culmination of a lost tradition of advanced mechanical technology that was somehow lost or forgotten? The absence of similar devices in the archaeological record has led some to speculate that the Antikythera mechanism may have been an anomaly, an invention ahead of its time that was never replicated or understood by later generations. Despite the lack of similar devices, there is some evidence to suggest that the Antikythera mechanism was not entirely without precedent. In recent years, scholars have uncovered references to similar devices in ancient texts, suggesting that the Greeks may have had other astronomical instruments that were either lost to time or simply never recovered. Some researchers believe that the Antikythera mechanism was part of a broader tradition of ancient astronomical clocks, and that its technology was the product of centuries of experimentation and refinement. If this is true, it would imply that the ancient Greeks had a far more sophisticated understanding of mechanics and astronomy than we previously believed. The mystery of the Antikythera mechanism is compounded by the fact that we know so little about its creator or the specific purpose for which it was intended. While the device's astronomical functions are well understood, its broader purpose remains unclear. Some believe that it was used for navigation, helping sailors to determine their position based on the movements of the stars. Others suggest that it was used as a teaching tool, allowing students of astronomy to better understand the mechanics of the universe. Still, others argue that the mechanism was a more practical instrument, used to predict important events such as eclipses and festivals, or even to track the cycles of the moon for agricultural purposes. Whatever its exact purpose, the Antikythera mechanism undoubtedly represents one of the most remarkable achievements of the ancient world, a testament to the ingenuity and brilliance of the civilization that created it. As with many ancient artifacts, the true significance of the Antikythera mechanism extends beyond its immediate function. The device is not just a remarkable piece of technology. It is also a symbol of the knowledge and wisdom that once existed in the ancient world. The mechanism suggests that the ancient Greeks had a far more advanced understanding of the cosmos and the laws that govern it than we once thought. It raises the possibility that there may have been other ancient cultures with similarly sophisticated technologies that have been lost to history, leaving behind only fragments of their knowledge. The discovery of the Antikythera mechanism has thus opened up a broader question. How much ancient knowledge has been lost, and what might we be able to uncover if we were able to piece together the fragments of these lost civilizations? The mystery of the Antikythera mechanism also speaks to the limitations of modern knowledge. Despite our advanced technology and our understanding of the universe, we are still struggling to comprehend the full scope of what the ancient world knew. The existence of such a sophisticated device in antiquity serves as a reminder that our understanding of history is far from complete. There may be many more discoveries waiting to be made, artifacts that challenge our assumptions about the technological capabilities of ancient civilizations and offer glimpses into the lost knowledge of the past. In recent years, the study of the Antikythera mechanism has garnered renewed interest as new research methods continue to uncover previously hidden details of the device's design and function. With the help of advanced imaging technologies, scientists are slowly unlocking the secrets of the mechanism, gaining new insights into the technological prowess of the ancient Greeks. Yet, despite our growing understanding of the device, the question of how such a complex instrument came into being remains as elusive as ever. Was it the product of a single visionary, or did it represent the culmination of an ancient tradition of knowledge and innovation? Only time and further research will tell. But for now, the Antikythera mechanism remains a captivating reminder of the mysteries that still lie buried beneath the surface of history, waiting to be uncovered. In the heart of the Mexican desert, surrounded by the harsh winds and endless stretches of dry earth, lies a mystery that has baffled archaeologists, historians, and adventurers alike: the ancient city of Teotihuacan. Known as the City of the Gods, this sprawling metropolis was once one of the largest and most influential cities in the ancient Americas. Today, its ruins, though majestic, stand as a haunting reminder of a civilization that rose to greatness, only to vanish without a trace. The question that continues to intrigue scholars is, what happened to the people of Teotihuacan? How did this once thriving city, with its grand architecture and complex society, disappear from history? Teotihuacan's construction dates back to around 200 BCE, but it reached its peak between 400 and 600 CE, when it was one of the largest cities in the world, with a population of perhaps 100,000 to 200,000 people. The city was planned with an extraordinary sense of organization and vision. At its center lies the Avenue of the Dead, a wide, long path lined with large pyramids and temples. Among these, the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon stand as towering symbols of the city's grandeur. The Pyramid of the Sun, in particular, is one of the largest in the world, and its sheer scale is awe-inspiring. The precise alignment of these structures with celestial events, particularly the movements of the sun and moon, suggests that Teotihuacan was not only a center of commerce and politics, but also a site of great spiritual and religious significance. Despite its immense size and complexity, however, Teotihuacan's rise and fall remain shrouded in mystery. One of the most remarkable aspects of the city is that, even though it flourished for centuries, no known written records or inscriptions from the people of Teotihuacan have survived. This makes it incredibly difficult to understand their language, culture, and even their identity. Unlike other Mesoamerican civilizations, such as the Maya or the Aztecs, which left behind detailed records of their rulers, events, and religious practices, the people of Teotihuacan did not leave us a clear record of who they were. The lack of written language has left scholars with few clues to explain the city's rise to power or its eventual decline. Theories about Teotihuacan's rise are varied, but they generally focus on the city's impressive architecture, its strategic location, and its role as a major economic and religious center. It is believed that Teotihuacan's location, nestled in the Valley of Mexico, allowed it to become a hub for trade between the north and south of Mesoamerica. The city's influence reached far beyond its immediate region, and is thought to have played a central role in the development of the entire Mesoamerican world. The people of Teotihuacan were skilled artisans, and the city was known for its high-quality ceramics, obsidian tools, and intricate artwork. Evidence suggests that Teotihuacan had a strong military presence, and its elite may have controlled vast territories through both diplomacy and force. Yet, despite its apparent prosperity and power, Teotihuacan began to experience significant internal turmoil by the end of the 6th century. The city's sudden decline, which occurred around 650 CE, remains one of the great mysteries of ancient Mesoamerica. Unlike other ancient civilizations that were destroyed by external forces such as invasion or conquest, Teotihuacan appears to have collapsed from within. The city's great pyramids and temples, once symbols of its power and devotion, were systematically burned and destroyed. The city's central government, which had maintained a level of stability and order for centuries, seemed to have disintegrated. The reasons for this collapse are still a matter of intense debate, with theories ranging from internal conflict and civil war to environmental factors and resource depletion. One of the most compelling theories is that Teotihuacan's decline was caused by social unrest or political instability. Archaeological evidence suggests that there was a significant shift in the city's layout and construction during the 6th century, which may indicate a breakdown in the central authority that had previously governed the city. It is also possible that Teotihuacan's reliance on military conquest and its expansionist policies created internal divisions, leading to revolt and disintegration. This theory is supported by the discovery of numerous burned and destroyed buildings, particularly in the northern part of the city, which suggests that the inhabitants may have turned on each other in a violent uprising. Environmental factors could also have played a role in the collapse of Teotihuacan. The city was located in a region that was prone to droughts, and it is possible that a series of dry years contributed to food shortages and social unrest. Some researchers believe that the city's growing population put tremendous pressure on its agricultural resources, leading to deforestation and soil erosion. These environmental stresses, combined with internal conflicts, could have triggered the city's decline. Yet, Despite the destruction and decay, Teotihuacan did not vanish entirely. The city continued to be inhabited by smaller groups for several centuries after its fall, but its former glory was never regained. Its influence, however, lived on. Teotihuacan's art, architecture, and religious practices continued to influence subsequent civilizations, particularly the Aztecs, who revered Teotihuacan as a place of great spiritual significance. The Aztecs, who arrived in the Valley of Mexico centuries after Teotihuacan's collapse, viewed the city as a sacred site and even believed that it was the birthplace of the gods. The ruins of Teotihuacan were central to Aztec mythology and religious rituals, and they left a lasting imprint on the Aztec civilization. The mystery of Teotihuacan's collapse is compounded by the absence of written records. Unlike other ancient Mesoamerican civilizations that left behind codices, inscriptions, and detailed accounts of their rulers and events, Teotihuacan remains an enigma. What little we know about the city's rulers comes from archaeological evidence, such as murals and carvings, which suggest that Teotihuacan was ruled by a group of elites rather than a single king or emperor. The idea of a collective leadership challenges the traditional view of Mesoamerican societies, which were often centered around powerful rulers. Today, Teotihuacan stands as one of the most awe-inspiring archaeological sites in the world, drawing visitors from across the globe who come to marvel at its towering pyramids and mysterious ruins. Yet, even as we stand before its ancient walls and towering structures, the true story of Teotihuacan remains elusive. The city's rise, its flourishing period, and its eventual fall all remain shrouded in mystery. What happened to the people of Teotihuacan? What caused their great city to fall? These questions may never be fully answered, but the enigma of Teotihuacan continues to captivate our imaginations and serves as a reminder that there is still so much to learn about the ancient civilizations that once shaped the world. The Moai statues of Easter Island, also known as Rapa Nui, are perhaps one of the most iconic and mystifying archaeological wonders of the world. These enormous stone figures, with their stoic faces and oversized heads, have captivated historians, archaeologists, and adventurers for centuries. Standing tall across the island's landscape, the Moai represent a fascinating chapter in human history, one that is filled with questions about the people who created them and the reasons behind their construction. How did the ancient inhabitants of Easter Island, a remote landmass isolated in the vast Pacific Ocean, manage to carve and transport such colossal statues? What role did these figures play in the culture and society of the Rapa Nui people? And perhaps most intriguingly, what caused the downfall of this once flourishing civilization? Easter Island is one of the most remote places on Earth, located more than 2,000 miles off the coast of Chile. Despite its isolation, the island was once home to a thriving society that developed a unique and complex culture. The Moai statues, which were carved from volcanic tuff, a soft volcanic rock found in the Reno Raraku quarry, are the most recognizable feature of this ancient civilization. There are nearly 900 Moai scattered across the island, varying in size from modest statues just a few feet tall to towering figures that can reach heights of over 30 feet. The largest Moai, known as Paro, weighs approximately 82 tons and stands nearly 33 feet tall. These monumental sculptures, each with distinctive facial features, were erected on large stone platforms called ao, which also served as ceremonial altars. The purpose of the Moai statues has been a subject of much debate, with scholars offering a variety of theories over the years. One of the most widely accepted explanations is that the Moai represented the ancestors of the Rapa Nui people, embodying the spiritual and political power of these ancestors. The Moai were believed to act as powerful symbols of authority, protecting the communities that lived near them and ensuring the prosperity of the land. According to this view, the statues were created as part of an ancestor worship tradition, with each Moai representing an important figure in the society's lineage. The larger the Moai, the more important the ancestor it represented, with the statues being placed on the ahu in a way that emphasized the hierarchical structure of Rapa Nui society. The construction of these statues is a feat of extraordinary craftsmanship and engineering. The Rapa Nui people did not have metal tools, and yet they managed to carve and shape the moai using only stone tools made from basalt. This raises the question of how such a small, isolated society, without access to advanced technology or machinery, was able to create such monumental works of art. Archaeologists believe that the moai were carved primarily in the quarry at Reino Raraku, and it is estimated that around 400 moai were completed and left there, while the remaining statues were transported to different parts of the island. The process of carving the moai was incredibly labor-intensive, and it would have required a large workforce to complete each statue. Transporting these massive statues from the quarry to their final locations across the island is another part of the mystery. The statues can weigh as much as 80 tons, and the idea of moving such heavy objects using only rudimentary tools and human labor seems almost impossible. There are several theories about how the moai were transported. One popular theory suggests that the statues were walked to their destinations. According to this idea, workers used ropes to rock the statues back and forth, allowing them to walk across the landscape. This theory is supported by recent experiments, where teams of archaeologists and engineers have managed to move smaller replicas of the moai using this technique. While this explanation seems plausible, the logistics of moving statues weighing multiple tons still remain a challenge, and some question whether such a method would have been feasible on a large scale. Another theory suggests that the moai were transported using a system of sledges or rollers. According to this theory, the statues were placed on wooden sleds and dragged along pathways or across the island using ropes and a large number of workers. This method would have required an enormous amount of manpower and would have been incredibly taxing, especially considering the harsh terrain of Easter Island. While there is some evidence to support this theory, the lack of any clear archaeological evidence of sledges or roller systems complicates the argument. Nevertheless, the mystery of how the moai were moved remains an open question, and researchers continue to investigate various methods to explain the transportation process. The downfall of the Rapa Nui civilization and the mysterious decline of moai construction is another central aspect of the island's enigmatic history. At its peak, the moai culture flourished with a complex society, which relied heavily on the construction of the statues as symbols of power and religious belief. However, by the 18th century, the society had collapsed, and the moai were abandoned. There are several theories about what caused this dramatic decline, with environmental, social, and political factors all playing a role. One of the most widely discussed explanations for the collapse of the Rapa Nui civilization is deforestation. When the first Polynesians arrived on Easter Island around 1,200 years ago, the island was covered in lush forests. These forests were crucial to the island's ecosystem, providing wood for construction, fuel, and tools. However, by the time Europeans first arrived in the 18th century, the island was nearly devoid of trees. The deforestation was largely the result of the extensive use of wood for construction and the transportation of moai statues. As the trees disappeared, the soil began to erode, and the island's agricultural systems became unsustainable. The loss of resources may have led to food shortages and contributed to the social unrest that ultimately caused the collapse of the society. Another factor contributing to the collapse was the internal conflict and the breakdown of social order. Archaeological evidence suggests that there was a shift in the way the moai statues were treated in the later stages of the Rapa Nui civilization. In particular, many of the moai were toppled and damaged, indicating that there was widespread social unrest. Some scholars believe that this was the result of political infighting and competition between rival clans, which led to the destruction of the statues. The collapse of the moai-centered belief system may have triggered the downfall of the civilization as a whole, as the statues were deeply intertwined with the island's political and religious structure. Lastly, the arrival of European explorers in the 18th century may have played a role in the decline of Easter Island. The introduction of new diseases, along with the arrival of slave traders, devastated the population of Rapa Nui. By the time Europeans arrived, the once thriving society had already experienced significant turmoil, and the arrival of outsiders only accelerated its decline. Today, the Moai statues stand as a testament to the ingenuity, creativity, and cultural richness of the Rapa Nui people. Though much of their history remains a mystery, the statues continue to fascinate and inspire people around the world. The island itself remains an isolated and fragile ecosystem, with its past a poignant reminder of the rise and fall of civilizations. As we continue to study Easter Island and its Moai, we are reminded of the delicate balance between culture, environment, and sustainability, an eternal lesson that continues to resonate with our modern world. The Great Pyramids of Giza have long been considered one of the most magnificent and enduring symbols of ancient Egyptian civilization. Rising from the sands of the Egyptian desert, these colossal structures have stood for more than 4,500 years, their imposing presence a testament to the skill, ingenuity, and ambition of the ancient Egyptians. The Pyramids of Giza, particularly the Great Pyramid, built for the pharaoh Khufu, continue to captivate the imaginations of historians, archaeologists, and travelers alike. Yet, despite their grandeur and the countless theories surrounding their purpose, the true story behind these monumental structures remains shrouded in mystery. How were they constructed with such precision and scale? What was their true purpose beyond serving as tombs for the pharaohs? And why do they continue to defy our understanding of ancient engineering and architectural capabilities? The construction of the Great Pyramid is perhaps the most debated aspect of its history. Theories abound regarding how such a massive structure could have been built using only the tools and technology available to the ancient Egyptians. Standing at 481 feet, 147 meters, tall and consisting of approximately 3 million blocks of limestone and granite, the Great Pyramid was, for more than 3,800 years, the tallest man-made structure in the world. Each stone block weighs between 2 and 30 tons, and it is believed that the pyramid was constructed with remarkable precision, aligned perfectly with the cardinal points of the compass. The task of building such a monumental structure would have required an immense workforce and an extraordinary level of planning and organization. The traditional explanation for how the pyramids were constructed is that they were built using a system of ramps. It is commonly believed that workers would have used long, straight ramps to transport the massive stones from quarries to the construction site, gradually building up the pyramid's layers. Some theories suggest that these ramps were built in a spiral shape around the pyramid itself, allowing workers to move the stones up as the pyramid grew taller. Others propose that a straight, long ramp was constructed that extended from the base of the pyramid to the top. While this ramp theory remains the most widely accepted explanation, there is no concrete evidence to definitively prove how the ramps were designed or how the stones were lifted. Recent technological advancements and new research have led to alternative theories about the construction process. Some scientists suggest that a combination of levers and pulleys could have been used to lift the massive blocks, or that workers may have employed a system of counterweights to assist with the heavy lifting. Other ideas propose the use of water or other hydraulic systems to move the stones. Despite these different theories, the exact method of construction remains one of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world. The fact that the pyramid was built with such precision using only simple tools is a testament to the advanced engineering knowledge of the ancient Egyptians, but the details of how they achieved this feat continue to elude us. The purpose of the Great Pyramids, and particularly the Great Pyramid of Khufu, is another aspect that has fascinated scholars for centuries. The traditional view, held by many Egyptologists, is that the pyramids were built as tombs for the pharaohs, designed to ensure a safe passage to the afterlife. According to ancient Egyptian beliefs, the pharaohs were divine beings, and their bodies were carefully preserved through mummification in order to allow their spirits to live on in the afterlife. The pyramids were meant to serve as grand burial sites, filled with treasures, food, and everything the pharaoh would need in the afterlife. The burial chamber of the Great Pyramid is located deep within the structure, and although it remains empty today, It was likely intended to house the mummified body of Khufu. However, despite the widespread belief that the pyramids were solely tombs, some researchers suggest that their purpose may have been more complex. The alignment of the pyramids, particularly the Great Pyramid, with the stars and celestial bodies, hints at a deeper connection between the structures and ancient Egyptian cosmology. The ancient Egyptians were deeply concerned with the afterlife, and they believed that the pharaohs would ascend to the stars after death, particularly to the star Sirius, which was associated with the goddess Isis. The positioning of the pyramids could have been intended to facilitate this celestial journey, acting as a gateway between the earthly realm and the heavens. Some theories even propose that the pyramids were used for astronomical purposes, such as tracking the movements of the stars or marking the solstices, suggesting that they were not only monumental tombs, but also advanced observatories. Another intriguing theory about the purpose of the pyramids comes from the idea that they were not simply tombs, but symbols of power and divine authority. The sheer size and scale of the pyramids would have conveyed the might of the pharaoh and his gods, creating a visual representation of their dominance over the land and the afterlife. The pyramids may have served as a statement of the pharaoh's divine right to rule, a tangible manifestation of his eternal connection to the gods. In this view, the pyramids were not only the final resting places of the pharaohs, but also part of a larger cultural and religious narrative designed to reinforce the power structures of ancient Egypt. The mystery surrounding the construction and purpose of the pyramids is compounded by the absence of detailed records or inscriptions explaining how they were built or why. There are no clear references in ancient texts that describe the specific methods used in pyramid construction, nor is there a definitive explanation of their precise purpose. The lack of such records only adds to the allure and mystique of the pyramids, leaving us with a sense of wonder about the people who built them and their remarkable achievements. The Great Pyramids have long been the subject of speculation and fascination, not only among scholars, but also among the general public. Numerous theories have been proposed, ranging from the idea that the pyramids were built by extraterrestrial beings to the suggestion that they were constructed by a lost civilization far more advanced than our own. While these ideas are often dismissed by mainstream archaeologists, they reflect the sense of awe and wonder that the pyramids continue to inspire. The fact that, after millennia, the pyramids still stand as symbols of ancient Egyptian brilliance speaks to the enduring mystery that surrounds them. In the end, the Great Pyramids of Giza continue to be one of the most remarkable achievements in human history. While we may never know the exact methods used to construct them or the full extent of their purpose, they remain a testament to the extraordinary vision, creativity, and ambition of the ancient Egyptians. These majestic structures have withstood the ravages of time, and they continue to serve as a reminder of the mysteries that lie hidden in the past. The pyramids of Giza remain, as they have always been, symbols of human achievement, curiosity, and the eternal search for meaning in the face of the unknown. The Nazca Lines, a vast collection of enormous geoglyphs etched into the desert floor of southern Peru, have intrigued and mystified researchers for decades. These massive and intricate designs, which include animal figures, geometric shapes, and even humanoid forms, can only be fully appreciated from the air. Stretching across an arid plateau known as the Nazca Desert, the lines range in size from a few meters to several hundred meters across, and their sheer scale and precision raise profound questions about the people who created them. How were these massive figures constructed? Why did the ancient Nazca culture invest so much time and energy into creating such an enigmatic landscape? And what purpose did these geoglyphs serve? Were they purely artistic, or did they have a deeper, more mystical significance? The Nazca Lines were created by the Nazca people, an ancient civilization that thrived between 500 BCE and 500 CE. The lines were carved into the desert floor by removing the reddish-brown iron oxide-coated stones that cover the surface, exposing the lighter-colored soil beneath. The result is a series of contrasting shapes that can be seen clearly from above, but are much harder to discern when viewed from the ground. The most famous of the Nazca Lines include depictions of animals such as a monkey, a spider, a hummingbird, and a condor, as well as geometric shapes like spirals, triangles, and parallel lines. Some of the figures are so large that they can only be fully appreciated from the sky, which has led many to wonder how the Nazca people, with no known aerial perspective, could have conceived of such enormous designs. One of the most compelling questions surrounding the Nazca lines is the purpose behind their creation. Several theories have been proposed over the years, but no single explanation has been universally accepted. One popular theory suggests that the lines were created for religious or ceremonial purposes. According to this view, the geoglyphs were meant to be offerings to the gods, possibly intended to ensure water and agricultural fertility in the arid region. The Nazca civilization, which relied heavily on irrigation to sustain its crops, may have created the lines as a way to communicate with the gods and ask for their favor. The idea that the lines were part of a ritualistic process is supported by the fact that many of the figures align with the solstices and other astronomical events, suggesting that they may have been used in religious ceremonies tied to the cycles of the sun and moon. Another theory posits that the lines were an early form of astronomical calendar. Some researchers have pointed to the alignment of certain lines and figures with celestial events, such as the rising and setting of specific stars. According to this interpretation, the Nazca people may have used the lines to track the movements of the stars, the sun, and the moon, helping them to predict the seasons and organize agricultural activities. The idea of the Nazca lines as an astronomical tool is supported by the fact that some of the figures, such as the famous hummingbird, are positioned in such a way that they may have had symbolic meaning related to the stars or constellations. This theory suggests that the lines were not merely decorative, but had a practical purpose related to the rhythms of the natural world. There's also a more mystical theory surrounding the Nazca lines, that they were created as part of an ancient form of earth magic or as a way of communicating with extraterrestrial beings. This theory, which gained popularity in the mid-20th century, suggests that the Nazca people may have created the geoglyphs to serve as a kind of map or signal for visitors from stars. Proponents of this theory argue that the vast scale of the lines, along with their precise geometric patterns, suggest a sophisticated understanding of geometry and engineering that might not have been possible with the tools available to the Nazca civilization. Some even believe that the Nazca people or their ancestors may have had contact with extraterrestrial beings, and that the lines were created as a way to communicate with them. While this theory is highly speculative and lacks concrete evidence, it continues to capture the imaginations of those fascinated by the idea of ancient alien encounters. Despite the many theories surrounding the Nazca lines, one thing remains clear. These geoglyphs are a remarkable achievement in terms of both scale and design. The sheer precision with which the lines were drawn, often stretching for miles across the desert, is a testament to the skill and determination of the Nazca people. The fact that the lines have survived for over 1,000 years, largely unchanged by the elements, is also a remarkable feat, especially considering the harsh, wind-blown environment of the Nazca Desert. The preservation of the lines has allowed modern archaeologists and researchers to study the geoglyphs in greater detail, leading to new insights into the ancient Nazca culture and the mysteries surrounding the lines. One of the key questions that still baffles researchers is how the Nazca people, with no aerial perspective, were able to design and create such large-scale figures. The Nazca civilization did not have access to modern surveying tools or techniques, and it is unlikely that they could have observed the lines from above. Some researchers suggest that the Nazca people may have used simple surveying instruments, such as ropes, sticks, and poles, to lay out the designs. Others speculate that the figures may have been created in stages, with the lines being drawn in sections and then connected together as the work progressed. However, the exact methods used to create the Nazca lines remain a mystery, and this adds to the allure and intrigue of the site. In recent years, new technology has allowed researchers to study the Nazca lines in greater depth. Satellite imagery and drone technology have provided a new perspective on the geoglyphs, revealing previously unseen details and helping to refine our understanding of their construction. These technological advances have also allowed researchers to more accurately map the lines and explore their connections to other archaeological sites in the region. As our understanding of the Nazca lines continues to grow, it is likely that new discoveries will shed light on their purpose and the methods used to create them. Ultimately, the Nazca lines remain one of the most fascinating and mysterious archaeological sites in the world. Whether they were created for religious purposes, astronomical observations, or as part of some other ritualistic practice, the geoglyphs continue to evoke a sense of wonder and awe. The sheer scale, complexity, and longevity of the lines are a testament to the ingenuity and creativity of the ancient Nazca civilization. And as we continue to study these enigmatic figures, we are reminded that there are still many mysteries left to uncover about the people who once inhabited the vast desert of southern Peru. The Nazca lines stand as a powerful reminder that even in the most barren and remote landscapes, human beings have the ability to leave behind a lasting imprint on the world, one that can still captivate our imaginations and challenge our understanding of history. The city of Petra, carved into the rose-red cliffs of southern Jordan, is one of the most breathtaking archaeological sites in the world. Often referred to as the Rose City due to the color of the sandstone from which it was carved, Petra was once a thriving center of commerce and culture, yet its mysteries continue to intrigue and puzzle historians. The most striking feature of Petra is its architecture, which blends Greek, Roman, and Eastern influences, all of which were intricately carved into the rock face. But beyond its physical beauty, Petra remains a symbol of a lost civilization whose secrets have largely faded into the sands of time. How did the ancient Nabateans carve such a magnificent city from the mountains? What was the true purpose of the elaborate tombs, temples, and water systems that still stand today? And why, despite its prosperity, did Petra eventually fade into obscurity? Petra was established as a settlement as early as the 4th century BCE, but it reached its peak between the 1st century BCE and the 2nd century CE, when it became the capital of the Nabatean kingdom. The Nabateans were a nomadic Arab tribe who, through their ingenuity and trade prowess, transformed Petra into a major hub of commerce. The city's strategic location along the caravan trade routes between the Arabian Peninsula, Egypt, and the Mediterranean Sea made it a key center for the trade of incense, spices, textiles, and other luxury goods. The wealth generated from this trade allowed the Nabateans to build an extraordinary city that, at its height, was home to tens of thousands of people. One of the most remarkable aspects of Petra is its architecture. The city's buildings, tombs, and temples are all carved into the mountainside, showcasing the incredible skill of the Nabatean craftsmen. The most famous of these structures is Al-Khazna, or the Treasury, a monumental facade carved directly into the cliff face. At 40 meters, 131 feet high, the Treasury is an awe-inspiring example of ancient craftsmanship. Its intricate details, including Corinthian columns and elaborate decorations, suggest that the Nabateans had a sophisticated understanding of architecture, even without the use of advanced tools or machinery. The Treasury is not only a stunning work of art, but also a reminder of the city's former wealth and power. Despite the grandeur of Petra's architecture, the true extent of the Nabateans' achievements lies in their ability to manipulate the natural environment. Petra's location in a harsh desert landscape posed significant challenges, but the Nabateans overcame these obstacles by developing an advanced system of water management. The city is home to an intricate network of water channels, cisterns, and dams that allowed the Nabateans to harvest and store rainwater, enabling them to sustain a large population in an otherwise arid region. This advanced engineering system was a key factor in Petra's success and growth, and it highlights the Nabateans' remarkable understanding of hydrology and the natural world. Another defining feature of Petra is its system of tombs. The city is dotted with hundreds of tombs, many of which are carved into the cliffs and decorated with elaborate facades. The most famous of these tombs is the Royal Tombs, a series of impressive burial sites that house the remains of Petra's elite. The tombs, like the rest of the city's architecture, were designed with great attention to detail and are considered masterpieces of Nabatean craftsmanship. The facades of the tombs are adorned with intricate carvings and decorative elements, many of which depict scenes from daily life, as well as religious symbols. These tombs are a testament to the importance of death and the afterlife in Nabatean culture, and they offer valuable insight into the society's beliefs and customs. Despite its grandeur, Petra's story is one of decline. By the 3rd century CE, the Nabatean kingdom began to fall under Roman control, and Petra's importance as a trade hub began to diminish. The Romans incorporated Petra into their empire, but the city's status as a major center of commerce gradually declined as new trade routes emerged and the region became more vulnerable to invasions. Earthquakes, too, took a toll on the city, with a series of tremors in the 4th and 6th centuries causing significant damage to Petra's buildings and infrastructure. By the time the city was rediscovered by Western explorers in the 19th century, Petra had largely faded from the historical record, its once thriving population long gone. The reasons behind Petra's decline are still a matter of debate. Some historians argue that the shift in trade routes, which bypassed Petra in favor of other cities, was the primary factor in its decline. As the trade routes shifted away from Petra, the city lost its economic importance, and its wealth and influence waned. Others suggest that the decline was due to a combination of factors, including political instability, the changing climate, and the impact of natural disasters such as earthquakes. Whatever the cause, Petra's fall from prominence was gradual, and by the time it was abandoned, its once great structures had fallen into disrepair. Today, Petra stands as a symbol of both the ingenuity and the fragility of ancient civilizations. The city's breathtaking architecture and advanced engineering marvels continue to attract tourists and scholars from around the world. But as much as Petra's physical beauty and accomplishments inspire awe, its decline is a stark reminder of the impermanence of human achievement. The city, once a thriving center of trade and culture, is now a silent monument to a lost civilization. Despite the efforts to preserve Petra and its treasures, the ruins continue to be affected by the ravages of time and the elements. As we look upon the remains of Petra, we are reminded of the powerful forces of history and nature that shape the rise and fall of civilizations. The city's stunning tombs and temples serve as a testament to the creativity and resourcefulness of the Nabateans, but they also stand as a poignant reminder of the inevitable passage of time. Petra's story is one of ambition, achievement, and eventual decline, a tale that reflects the broader patterns of human history. It reminds us that even the most impressive civilizations, no matter how advanced or prosperous, are subject to the whims of fate and the inexorable march of time. And as we continue to uncover the mysteries of Petra, we are left with the question, what other secrets might be buried beneath the sands, waiting to be discovered? Deep within the dense jungles of Cambodia lies one of the most enigmatic and awe-inspiring archaeological sites in the world, the ancient city of Angkor. Once the heart of the Khmer Empire, Angkor was a bustling metropolis, home to hundreds of thousands of people, grand temples, and elaborate water systems. Today, however, it stands largely abandoned, its towering stone structures slowly being reclaimed by nature. The temples of Angkor, particularly Angkor Wat, are masterpieces of architectural and engineering achievement, but the city's eventual decline remains shrouded in mystery. How did this magnificent empire, which was at the height of its power and influence for centuries, fall into ruin? What caused the once thriving city to be abandoned, leaving its grand temples to become mere relics of a forgotten civilization? Angkor was the capital of the Khmer Empire, which flourished between the 9th and 15th century CE. The city itself was a vast and highly organized urban center, featuring an advanced network of roads, reservoirs, canals, and temples. The most famous of these temples is Angkor Wat, originally built in the early 12th century as a Hindu temple dedicated to the god Vishnu. With its intricate carvings, massive stone towers, and grand scale, Angkor Wat remains one of the most iconic and enduring symbols of the Khmer Empire's artistic and architectural achievements. The temple complex is an engineering marvel, constructed with precise measurements and sophisticated techniques, and it is the largest religious monument in the world. Yet, Angkor what was just one part of a much larger city, which spanned over 400 square kilometers at its peak. The true scale of Angkor is difficult to comprehend. The city was home to an intricate system of artificial reservoirs, or barrages, which were used to store water for irrigation and to support the growing population. These barrages were part of a complex water management system that allowed the Khmer people to cultivate rice and other crops, making the city one of the most productive agricultural centers of its time. The water system, which included canals and reservoirs, also helped regulate the region's seasonal flooding, making it possible for the people of Angkor to thrive in an otherwise challenging environment. However, despite its remarkable achievements, the Khmer Empire began to decline in the late 13th century. The reasons for this decline are still the subject of much debate among historians, but several factors likely contributed to the fall of Angkor. One of the most widely cited explanations is the environmental strain caused by the city's complex water management system. The Khmer Empire's reliance on these intricate irrigation networks may have eventually led to their downfall. As the population of Angkor grew, so too did the demands on the water system. Scholars believe that the canals and reservoirs eventually became clogged with sediment, reducing their ability to manage water effectively. This, combined with prolonged periods of drought and unpredictable monsoon seasons, may have contributed to agricultural failure and food shortages, which weakened the empire. Another possible factor in Angkor's decline is the rise of neighboring states. In the 13th century, the Khmer Empire faced increasing pressure from the neighboring Thai and Vietnamese kingdoms. The Thai, in particular, posed a significant military threat, and by the end of the 14th century, the Khmer capital had been sacked multiple times. These military conflicts, combined with internal political instability and the gradual weakening of the central authority, may have played a role in the collapse of Angkor. As the empire's political and military strength waned, so too did its influence over the region. Religious shifts may also have contributed to the fall of Angkor. Angkor Wat, originally built as a Hindu temple, was gradually converted into a Buddhist temple during the 14th century. This shift in religious practice may have led to changes in the social and cultural dynamics of the city, potentially causing tensions within the population. The arrival of Buddhism in the region may have also contributed to a loss of unity, as the people of Angkor struggled to reconcile their old religious practices with the new beliefs. By the 15th century, the city of Angkor had been abandoned, and the Khmer Empire was no longer a dominant force in Southeast Asia. The city, once a thriving center of culture and commerce, was left to be reclaimed by the jungle. For centuries, the temples of Angkor remained hidden beneath thick layers of vegetation, their stone faces worn and eroded by time. It wasn't until the French explorer Henri Mouhot rediscovered Angkor in the mid-19th century that the world began to take notice of the site's extraordinary significance. Today, Angkor is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, attracting millions of visitors each year who come to witness the awe-inspiring beauty of its temples and to ponder the mysteries surrounding its rise and fall. The remnants of Angkor stand as a reminder of the impermanence of civilizations, even those that reach the pinnacle of artistic, architectural, and agricultural achievement. The city's decline and abandonment continue to spark questions about the fragile nature of human societies and the forces, both natural and human, that shape the fate of empires. Angkor's story is a poignant reminder that even the greatest civilizations are not immune to the passage of time and the forces of nature. The city's grand temples, which once served as the center of religious and political life, are now silent monuments to a bygone era. The mysteries of Angkor's decline, whether caused by environmental factors, military pressures, or social upheaval, remain unresolved, leaving the city's final days an enigma. But as we stand among the ruins, surrounded by the towering temples and intricate carvings, we are reminded that the city's legacy endures, a testament to the creativity, ambition, and resilience of the people who once called Angkor home. The discovery of the Antikythera mechanism, An ancient analog computer recovered from the wreck of a Greek ship off the coast of Antikythera Island has sparked both awe and confusion among scientists and historians. Dating back to around 100 BCE, the device is a marvel of ancient engineering, far more advanced than anything previously believed to exist in the ancient world. The mechanism, made of bronze gears and wheels, was found submerged in the Mediterranean Sea, and for decades, its purpose remained unclear. Today, the Antikythera mechanism is regarded as one of the most important archaeological discoveries of the 20th century, yet continues to puzzle researchers with its complexity and precision. The device consists of a series of interlocking gears that were once housed in a wooden case. Researchers believe that it was used to predict astronomical positions and eclipses based on the movements of the sun and the moon. The mechanism was capable of tracking the cycles of the solar and lunar calendars, and it even predicted the dates of the Olympic Games. This suggests that the Antikythera mechanism was not just a tool for navigation or timekeeping, but also had a deeper cultural and scientific significance. It's a testament to the technological capabilities of ancient Greece, showcasing a level of sophistication that was not thought to have existed until much later in history. The way in which the Antikythera mechanism was constructed is another area of fascination. The intricacy of the gears and the fact that they were able to mesh so precisely demonstrates a high level of craftsmanship and knowledge of mechanical engineering. The mechanism's discovery has forced many scholars to rethink the timeline of technological advancement in the ancient world. Before the Antikythera mechanism, it was widely assumed that such advanced machinery did not exist until the Middle Ages. But this device suggests that ancient civilizations were capable of engineering far more complex tools than previously imagined. The origins of the Antikythera mechanism, however, remain a mystery. Some believe it was the product of Greek scientists and mathematicians, possibly the work of Archimedes or other prominent scholars of the time. Others speculate that the mechanism may have been influenced by earlier technologies from the ancient civilizations of Mesopotamia, Egypt, or even the lost civilizations of the Indus Valley. However, no concrete evidence has yet been found to suggest the exact origins of the device, and this uncertainty adds to the intrigue of the Antikythera mechanism. Was it a unique creation, or was it part of a broader technological tradition lost to history? The remarkable precision of the mechanism raises further questions about the ancient Greeks' understanding of science and the universe. How did they develop such intricate machinery? What other technologies did they possess that we have yet to uncover? Despite the current understanding of the device, much of its function and the full extent of its capabilities remain elusive. The Antikythera mechanism challenges our assumptions about the technological limitations of the ancient world, and it serves as a poignant reminder that we still have much to learn about the remarkable achievements of past civilizations. Today, the Antikythera mechanism is housed in the National Archaeological Museum of Athens, and it continues to be the subject of ongoing research and fascination. New imaging techniques and computer simulations are slowly revealing more about its inner workings, and with each discovery, the mystery deepens. The mechanism's discovery has rekindled interest in the technological achievements of ancient civilizations, leading to renewed efforts to uncover the hidden knowledge of the past. For now, the Antikythera mechanism stands as a symbol of humanity's enduring quest for knowledge and understanding, bridging the gap between ancient innovation and modern curiosity. The Voynich manuscript, one of the most mysterious and puzzling books in existence, has confounded linguists, historians, and cryptographers for centuries. This ancient text, filled with bizarre symbols, strange illustrations, and an unknown language, has baffled anyone who has attempted to decipher its meaning. The manuscript is believed to date back to the early 15th century, and its origins remain shrouded in secrecy. Despite numerous attempts to crack its code, the Voynich manuscript has remained an enigma, its true purpose and message still hidden from the modern world. The manuscript is named after Wilfrid Voynich, a Polish-American antiquarian who purchased the book in 1912. Since then, it has attracted the attention of scholars and amateur sleuths alike, all of whom have been drawn to its cryptic nature. The text is written in an unknown alphabet, featuring strange characters that do not resemble any known language or script. The pages are filled with intricate illustrations of plants, some of which appear to be entirely fictional, as well as depictions of naked women bathing in strange pools of liquid. There are also astronomical charts, astrological symbols, and other enigmatic images that suggest the manuscript may have once been a guide to alchemy, herbalism, or astrology. Despite the best efforts of codebreakers, the language of the Voynich manuscript has never been definitively deciphered. Some researchers believe that the text is a cipher, created by a skilled cryptographer to hide a secret message. Others suggest that the manuscript is an elaborate hoax, a meaningless collection of symbols designed to perplex and confuse. Over the years, numerous attempts have been made to decode the manuscript, with some proposing that it could be a form of medieval code or a lost language. However, none of these theories have been conclusively proven, and the manuscript's true purpose remains elusive. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Voynich manuscript is its apparent connection to medieval alchemy and the occult. Some believe that the book was a guide to secret knowledge, passed down through generations of alchemists or mystical societies. The strange illustrations, which often depict bizarre plants, odd rituals, and astrological symbols, suggest that the manuscript may have had a purpose beyond simple literature. It could have been a manual for some kind of hidden or esoteric knowledge, an ancient code designed to protect sacred secrets from outsiders. Despite the lack of a definitive translation, the Voynich manuscript remains a symbol of humanity's fascination with the unknown and the mysterious. Its strange, cryptic nature continues to intrigue researchers and inspire a sense of wonder. As technology continues to advance, it's possible that one day the secrets of the manuscript will finally be revealed, but for now, it remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in the world of historical texts. In the shadow of the mountains of northern Peru lies one of the most perplexing archaeological discoveries ever made, the ancient site of Sacsayhuaman. This mysterious complex, built with massive stone blocks that weigh several tons each, has left historians and archaeologists scratching their heads for centuries. The precision with which the stones are cut and fitted together, without the use of mortar, suggests a level of engineering skill that seems far ahead of its time. But how were these colossal stones moved, and why were they arranged in such an intricate and seemingly enigmatic manner? Despite numerous theories, the true purpose of Sacsayhuaman, as well as the methods used to construct it, remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of ancient South America. The construction of Sacsayhuaman dates back to the time of the Inca Empire, around the 15th century. The site, located just outside the city of Cusco, was once an important religious and ceremonial center for the Incas. The most striking feature of Sacsayhuaman is the massive walls made up of enormous, precisely cut stones that fit together so tightly that not even a piece of paper can slip between them. These stones, some weighing as much as 100 tons, were quarried from distant locations and transported to the site without the help of wheels or metal tools. The process by which these stones were cut, shaped, and moved remains a subject of much debate and speculation. One of the most widely discussed theories is that the Incas used advanced techniques, such as levers, ramps, and rollers, to move the stones. Some researchers believe that they may have employed an early form of hydraulic engineering to lift and position the massive blocks, using water to create pressure and assist with the heavy lifting. Other theories suggest that the stones were transported by a vast network of human labor, with thousands of workers working in unison to shift the stones into place. However, no conclusive evidence has been found to support any of these ideas, and the methods used to construct Sacsayhuaman remain speculative at best. Another fascinating aspect of Sacsayhuaman is its alignment with the stars and celestial events. Some scholars believe that the site was designed to align with specific astronomical phenomena, such as solstices and equinoxes, suggesting that the Incas may have used the site for astronomical observations or rituals. The layout of the walls and the way the stones are arranged appear to follow certain celestial patterns, which has led some researchers to believe that Sacsayhuaman was a kind of ancient observatory. This theory adds another layer of mystery to the site, as it implies that the Incas had a profound understanding of the stars and their movements. Despite the many theories, Sacsayhuaman remains an enigma. The skill and precision involved in its construction, along with the mystery of how the massive stones were transported and arranged, challenge our understanding of ancient technology and the capabilities of pre-Columbian civilizations. The fact that the site was abandoned and largely forgotten after the Spanish conquest of the Inca Empire only deepens the mystery. Today, Sacsayhuaman stands as a powerful reminder of the ingenuity of ancient peoples, but also of the many questions that still remain about the lost knowledge and techniques of the past.